I gotta be honest with all of you out there. I'm a little iffy on that intro. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm iffy on it. You let me know what you think. That's how we'll run it. Welcome to Speak of the Devil. My name's Reverend Campbell. It is fantastic to have you. And for those of you joining live in the chat, hopefully you're going to be corresponding with each other and with us, the presenters, or host and hostee, host and guest, throughout the entire course of this show. I've got a really great guest for you. And I want to preface this really quick by saying, first and foremost, I've been doing this for a year now. This specific show for a year now. A little over a year, but who's counting? I started doing Speak of the Devil because it was what I loved about 9 Cents. That I got to meet new Satanists and hear their stories and their passions and what interests them and what turns them on and what turns them off. Tonight's show is all about that. Just meeting someone face-to-face, digital face-to-face for the first time. And, you know, you guys are going to be watching like a bunch of perverted voyeurs. So I hope you enjoy this show. Let me give a quick shout out to everyone joining us in chat. Dallas, thanks for coming in live and early too. Pushin', Bella, how are you? Tyler, if I just told you happy birthday in the Skype, it said it was your birthday. If it is in fact your birthday, happy birthday, man. Pi, Jeff, Ryan, Wasteland, good to see you, man. Dr. Bubonic, Paul, John, Diva, Dave D. How's it going, man? Joel, good to see you. And Jeff, I think that's everyone. TTK, I don't know what the hell that name stands for, but awesome. Good to see you. Let's start the show, shall we? I've got a very special guest, Citizen Ryan. How are you, my man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. Now, you and I have correspondence.
Way back when you did your other show, yeah.
Yeah, 9 Cents. And then you've been so great to every once in a while chime in saying, hey, I see this error. Did you mean it? And so we've addressed that. And then you sent this really great little care package.
Oh, you loved it, didn't you? Well, you know, I care about your soul.
A religious care package, which was a lot of fun. We'll cover that in just a second.
Sure, yeah.
But first and foremost, you gotta let us know. Let us in a little bit, because you just told me before the show started, this is sort of a coming out party.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I discovered, you know, the Church of Satan by accident, actually, in 2010. I was looking for articles on objectivism because I had finished some Ayn Rand, and well, what do you know? There's Mr. Nemo and his little bit about how Satanism and objectivism, how they're different, how they're similar, and so I thought, like, what is this? And then so that was when you had the older site, right? And so I'm following these links, and wow, I was impressed with what I read. I mean, I probably spent a week and a half going through that, really thinking about it. And then I said, you know what? I should read the book, you know? So I went down to the library and just checked it out because, you know, where I live, they have it in the library.
What a trip.
Yeah, I just checked it out. No big deal. Nonchalant. Lady didn't even give me guff, you know? You'd think you'd get some scowls or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Well, what part of the country are you in?
Yeah. Well, I'm in southern Nevada. So okay. Las Vegas, Sin City, right?
All right.
So,
that softens the blow a bit there. If you would have said you were like deep Oklahoma, it would have been a different.
Right. Yeah. Georgia. Yeah. I'm in Georgia. You know, close to Alabama border.
Alabama. Yeah. What a trip. So you checked it out from the library, and how old were you again?
Well, look, I mean, I was in my 30s.
Okay.
So, I mean, I came to Satanism late. Yeah. You know, in my life, you know, I mean, early on, maybe 14, I was going to, you know, church to kind of meet chicks and whatnot. You know,
Wait.
look, I mean, why do you go to the what, I forget what they call it, but it's like a team group where you go, right? Well, come on, man, you go to there to meet chicks. I
It's
don't know,
true. No, it's true.
right? And so, yeah, look, I'll admit, in my younger years, yeah, it was spiritual. You know, I thought, oh, maybe there's something or whatever. I bought into Pascal's wager for sure. So, you know, I just never had the faith. I always tried to find a faith in God, that there was some greater thing, and I just never could do it. I looked, I searched through my college years, you know, just trying to force myself. And I'm not that breed of cat. I just couldn't do it anymore. And so for a while, I said, well, I'm just going to be an atheist then, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And read a lot of Ayn Rand and other stuff like that, because I felt very strongly that if I'm not going to be spiritual, I'm not going to be religious, then I should have some form of ethics to navigate through the world, something, right? And so that then when I found Satan, I was like, oh my goodness, what is this? You know, he gives you a way to be yourself, but to give you to challenge you to say, yes, I am, beyond good and evil, but that doesn't mean there's not evil. Yes, I reject this old morality, but I'm challenged to create greater ethics, stronger ethics, to hold myself to an even higher standard than what I am rejecting. And that's what I found most exciting about it.
Was it difficult for you to get over that hurdle of having the religiosity being shoved down your throat your entire life, to then understand actually that Satanism is an atheistic approach as a religion?
I got to be honest with you. Growing up, we didn't have a lot of religion shoved down our throat. I kind of sought it out. Like I saw friends who had apparently anyway found a way to make religion make their lives better. They seemed more stable and more productive people, and so that's what I was really looking for in religion. It really had nothing, you know. Now I realize in retrospect it had nothing to do with the faith in God. I never really, you know, I never had that growing up. I shoved it down my own throat. I tried to make myself something I wasn't, you know, to my, I don't know, I wouldn't say everlasting shame, but, you know, it wasn't the right course. It was a mistake.
Well, this is what is interesting to me about this, is that you were striving to fit in, to actively find some belief in this thing. Where did that drive come from? That need to be able to connect with what other people were connecting with?
I think that it had less to do with being part of a group and more to do with, I struggle to say that I had a bad childhood. I never wanted for anything, but there was a lot of yelling, there was a lot of hitting, and that kind of a thing. And so I had a lot of side effects from that, like physical and emotional, that a person will develop over years from that. And so I was looking for peace. I was looking for you know, something that I could just, I don't know, I guess devote myself to. Like if I devoted myself to this enough, all my problems go away. If I just force myself to believe this, whatever, right? All these other people seem to work, so maybe it'll work for me, right? There's gotta be something to it, right? It's been around for 1,000 years, right? No.
It is crazy interesting how we can be brainwashed as a society, in that anything past your generation is just a fact. Whether it is or not, it's just a fact. And if it's past 2 generations, it's like, well, that's just reality. And if it's 2,000 years in the past, it's like, well, that's the fucking Bible truth. You know, no logic behind it, no reality behind it. It's just, well, it's beyond my life experience. Everyone else seems to be eating it up, so it's got to have some fundamental basis in truth. And then there's that moment when you realize, wow, this is really bullshit. Am I the only
Yeah.
one that sees how bullshit this is? Like,
Yeah. And I never found a bit of peace. You know, the peace that I found,
hmm,
the thing that I really liked was the friends that I made in the church, but it wasn't the religion itself that ever gave me a bit of peace. It was the friends that, I still keep in contact with a couple of them on Facebook. I don't know what will happen after this. Maybe we'll see it, maybe not, right? I don't know,
yeah.
but I just decided that, I mean, it is what it is. I studied the books for 3 years. I went after it with a scientific approach, that with the hypothesis that, you know, I'm trying to disprove that this is what I am. And I've read quite a bit. I read Ragnar Redbeard. It got me into
Mm-hmm.
the anarchism more, and into sorry, it escapes me now, but and into that whole movement of thinking. I forget what they called
White
themselves.
supremacy.
No, come on, yeah, white supremacy, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Reverend Slaughter's gonna kill me, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, now I'm on the spot and I can't remember the word, but you know what I'm talking about. It was the philosophical movement that Redbeard was a part of,
Yeah.
and
Talking about egoism?
yeah, no, not ego.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it, my book.
Nihilism?
Anyway, no, definitely not. Anyway, I like it because it's about the individual first.
Yeah, yeah.
I've always kind of been that way.
Hell yeah. Well, let me quickly give a shout out to Marcy. I'm glad you actually made it to a live stream. Thank you so much, my dear. And if you're not a my dear, my dude, you never know with names nowadays. All right, so this is somewhat interesting to me because I didn't come into Satanism from a scientific side of thinking. I was very much a magical type thinker.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested into hearing your perspective on from a scientific perspective, when you read about satanic magic in the Satanic Bible,
Mm-hmm.
what was your interpretation?
Okay, I had to do a lot of looking into that. Jung and his work that was recommended off the Church of Satan's website, Man and His Symbols, and I read that, and then it really came together. I really started to understand what Mr. LeVay was doing there. And then, yeah, I jumped right into it, because to me it makes good psychological sense. Like I can rationalize it, so to speak. So now I can go into the ritual chamber knowing what it is, and I can lose myself there, and I can do my thing.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Well, did you have any problems that? Was it like you dipped your toe in the water and you were just like, ooh, this is weird?
Oh yeah, I did. I dipped my toe in the water. I would do my own little experiment, like, oh well, I'm going to do my own little ritual, right? Like, only recently have I started doing the full 13 steps out of the book and going the full, and I've really found it therapeutic. I mean, in my own case, the most recent compassion ritual I did, I mean, it really cleared my mind, cleared the way for me to make some real serious and positive changes in my life. So, I'm a firm believer in it.
That's pretty cool. What do you think is the reason that most people have such a hard time just getting over the hurdle, the idea of it, to even try it at that point? That there's a stigma amongst some people. Where do you think that comes from?
I think because it is I personally think that it is because it is a religious practice. And a lot of people come to say, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say what a lot of people come to say. My impression is that a lot of people come to Satanism because they're done with that whole thing, right? They're done with the religion. They don't want the hokey ritual and whatnot. And so then they read the book and they're like, oh, what this all makes sense. The chapters before made sense, but what's all this about ritual?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, that's just my own take on why I think. For me personally, it was like, does this actually work? How does this work? And then, you kind of realize that even Jung probably didn't know how it worked. Just, it works. Trust me. There's a box in there somewhere. Something's happening, and outspits productivity, and what do you care as long as it does work?
Yeah. Well, this is what I love about, and I don't want to get mired down too much in discussion of greater magic or anything, but there's that great essay that LeVay wrote, The Combination Lock Principle, which addresses the idea of what works in magic and you having to have that key for yourself in order to unlock each of those little triggers that finally opens that lock to allow yourself the opportunity to really engage in ritual or to find success in the ritual chamber. I think a lot of people, when they come into Satanism, regardless of where or how they discover it, they have a hard time with the idea of it because they've been raised with this idea that magic is card tricks and it's illusion and it's not real. And if you come into satanic magic with that mentality, well, you're just going to be setting yourself up for failure, because no, it's not casting fire fucking balls. It's not Dungeons and Dragons,
Nope.
But it's certainly not card tricks either. There's this really wonderful gray area in there. You can't see what I'm doing with my hands, but there's a gray area in there that is actually a pretty stunning place where your will can be done. And it's a pretty amazing thing when you've seen it realized. Anyway, I didn't want to get mired down in that too much. One thing I always like to talk to Satanists about is it's one thing identifying with an organization or a religion that an organization supports. It's another thing entirely joining an organization. What was that hurdle for you?
The hurdle for me was after 3 years, I had done all my research, and you know what? I said, this is for me. I'm not jumping into something. This is what I am. This is a challenge for me to be that person that I am. And I just couldn't imagine not showing my gratitude to the organization. But hey, here's the membership fee, whatever, have fun. And it was an expression of my gratitude for them, and I hoped that the money would go to just keep it going, keep the website up, keep the message out there that there is this great book that a certain amount of people with a certain outlook on life will find the way I found. I would have never known about it. There wasn't some website. I would have never found it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you about that. I wouldn't have found it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have found it.
It's crazy how I don't know of any other movement in history that I can connect with that resonates as powerful today as it did when it was first discovered or first founded. And certainly no movement that has never altered its approach, that has never changed in any fundamental way, or in this case, no way at all, that has stayed the course for 50 years or more and is still relevant, and people are still connecting with it. I think
I'm pretty sure they're buying that book at the same rate,
if not more, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And I don't even mind if some of those purchases are people just sort of dipping their toe in the water and being like, ooh, I'm not okay with this. Or they're just doing it because they're like, oh yeah, look how bad I am. Look how cool I am. At least it's an opportunity to educate other people, rather than just sort of shrouding ourselves in this dark chamber and just chanting. And I don't know, there's too many religions that have secrecy as their draw, and we are one that has brutal, honest truth as its draw. And I find that incredibly refreshing.
Here's the carnival. Here's all the rides. Here's how much they cost. Come join the carnival if you want, and if you don't,
yeah, fuck off. Have fun. Yeah, no, I dig it, man. Well, that's cool. So how do you this is very broad, so interpret it however you'd like. How do you interpret Satanism? How do you apply satanic principles in your life?
Ooh. Yeah, fair enough. I try and apply them every single day. In fact, I work customer service. And so that's dealing with people. And so there's a lot of lesser magic. You know, there's a lot of feeling people out, psychology, knowing
What,
which buttons
like
to
Henry
push
White?
when. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Trying to get them to, look. I mean, yes, your machine broke, and I'm very sorry. Sometimes machines break. Hey, we have this great repair option. Let's get you going. That kind of a thing, right? Like, there's a lot of putting the positive spin on it. It I'm more aware every day, like when I interact with other people, I'm looking, more closely at, what is their body language telling them? What is my body language telling them? I walk around in stores now with my shoulders back, head held up high, and I walk with authority. And probably once a month, very clearly, I don't work there, but people will ask me because I walk with authority. Now, I do that, so that people don't want to mug me because I look aware and I look like I probably, beat the crap out of you, and I'm not an easy target. But because of that, I just have this authority. People want to know, like, hey, where's this? Do you know where this is? I love it.
Well, I think that's interesting because I don't know that many people are aware that they use lesser magic on a regular basis. But being aware of it, I think, gives you a little bit upper hand on not only just the target, of course, but just
Yeah.
everyone else around you. That awareness, I think, it breeds confidence, it breeds
Yes.
self-awareness, and it leads ultimately to success. So you had mentioned that you're working customer support. What's your long tail? Like, what's sort of your dream job in life?
You know, I like helping people. I like helping people find a solution to their problems. I know that sounds kind of cool. I don't know, but that's what I like. And so I kind of like customer support. And so if I long term, right,
Hmm.
I've got plans to move up the chain. This new job that I just got, because of going out and making changes in my life, right? There's lots of opportunity for growth. And so my plan is to eventually, mentor people in the company in which I work. Like, I know this job this well, get your 10,000 hours, and then, start teaching people the job, start, helping people, do a better job, coaching, that kind of a thing. Does that make
Is that
sense? More of,
no? It makes sense. Is that because you didn't have a mentor coming up, or you did and you respected that approach?
you mean coming up like when I was growing up?
No, coming up as in your job, your position. I mean, what I'm trying to understand is
Mm-hmm.
where does that drive for you to help other people or to mentor other people come from?
I see. I see. I don't really know exactly where it comes from. I just get a great satisfaction from helping them. And I will say this: one of the tenets that I hold dear uh, is that I like to leave a place better than when I came there. So I
Hmm.
like, like wherever I go, I like to make a positive improvement. I gave my 2 weeks. I talked to my old boss yesterday, and she was sad to see me go. She told me I taught her stuff. Like, she's my boss. How am I teaching her stuff? I don't know, but I just have this effect on people. I don't even necessarily mean to. It's just like a charisma, I guess, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. People tend to make me a little um, nervous sometimes, being around too many of them. But I don't know. I just get a great satisfaction from it.
Hmm.
And I don't know where the drive comes
Yeah.
from.
I think regardless of whether or not we know where it comes from, it's something that is incredibly important. You're talking about uh, having a motivation in your business and being able to sort of go the extra steps, going the extra mile, walking with authority and loving to help other people. There's a part of that that I think is really important, and it's sort of an element that I think needs to be addressed in order to explain stuff like that. And it's the awareness of an issue, and then knowing that whether you had anything to do with making that issue or not, it needs to be corrected. And this is something I hammer on to my kids about. I hammer on to the people I work with and clients all the fucking time, and it drives me absolutely crazy. So for my kids, just for example, walk down the hallway and there's a crayon on the floor. Why is there a crayon on the floor? Pick up the crayon. Well, I didn't put it there. I don't care who put it there. You saw it. You walked right by it. You know it shouldn't be there. So correct the situation. I'm not blaming you for it, but I'm going to ask you to correct any deficiency that you see. And you can push this out and just see it as in the world around you. If you see a problem, you need to correct it. But by doing so, you will then start looking within yourself and saying, if I'm correcting stuff that I see on the outside, what about the shit I see on the inside? I know that I sleep in too long. Maybe I should stop, or maybe I should put a rule into place that would prevent me from this. So my son was coming home late habitually. And so I was like, you know, if only you had this device, this magical device to set an alarm that would alert you to when you should leave in order to be home on time. If only such a magical device existed, you would never be late. And he was like, you mean my phone? I was like, yeah, exactly. Set a fucking alarm next time. All right, now come on. Like, it's not difficult. You just have to make that connection. And not everyone is thinking about it or even consciously aware of it. And so they don't necessarily make that connection. But for example, another one, a professional one. Whenever an ad or a brochure or a billboard or whatever it is comes across my desk, whether or not I had anything to do with the design or the production of that, if it touches my desk, I have to make sure before it leaves my desk that it's 100% good to go, no matter what. So it could come from a completely different company, and I'm going to double check it. And it's not because I don't think that they're doing a good job or that they somehow need my help. It's because it touched my fucking desk. And once it leaves that, then it means I approved it. And I'm not going to manually approve anything unless I go over it. And that, I think, is an approach that you're taking with your career, but also what we collectively and as individuals, I hate the word collectively, but as individuals, we Satanists must always double check, not just other people, not just what's in your environment, but everything that you're doing. And if you do that, then you're going to realize, oh shit, I got some bad habits, or maybe I got some traits that I don't like so much, or maybe my own behavior is the source of my own misery, and I can then correct it. And I just don't think people do that enough.
It wasn't a charge to leave morality and go and do, you know, whatever, because nothing matters. It was a charge from Mr. LeVay to be better than what we condone, to be better people, to have higher standards and better ethics and higher morality. It wasn't to you know, do nothing. So that's how I always try and live as well, you know.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna, you know, if I'm not gonna have high standards, I mean, where am I gonna get, you know? I mean, the boss, but that kind of stuff matters long term. It doesn't matter short term. You don't get the pat on the back every day for having great chats, right? But what you get is at the end, when you put in your 2 weeks notice, you have your former boss who hates to see you go and will do anything in the world for you. And if I ever need anything, I can just call her up and she will vouch whatever for me. That, I mean, that's priceless. And that, you know, like if you treat me well, I will treat you well. Now, this love of helping, you know, back to your discussion earlier of, you know, how do I apply Satanism in everyday life, right? I love to help people, but I realize over the years that some people will take advantage. And so you have to watch out for these vampires. They suck at your soul. You know, they suck at your essence, and you know, kind of kick them in the curb. You know, like, yeah, I helped you out. Oh, you didn't reciprocate. Oh, not even a thank you. Okay, well, screw you. See you later. Bye bye. You know, never help you again. You know.
So
I've
it's
had-
easy
I've
when
had-
you're on the other
I've had-
side of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I've really had to work on that. That's like, but
So I want to say, in reference to psychic vampires, it's easy when you're on the other side of kicking them to the curb. Have you ever been in a situation where it took you a little while to realize that you were dealing with a psychic vampire?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty good at spotting them. It was just, I don't know. I don't know. Having the conviction, just say, you know what? No more. Because I have a lot of empathy for people. I don't like to see suffering. I like to reduce suffering where I can. So but it's just the longer I've been alive, the longer I've been Satanist. Is just no. You know what? It's better if no more help. It's better if I just cut them off and no more help.
Yeah. Yeah. I find this really interesting for a couple of reasons. Primarily because traditionally, when you think of a Satanist, you think of someone who focuses solely on themselves and their own personal growth.
Right.
It's refreshing every once in a while when you run across a Satanist who enjoys philanthropy, for example, simply because it brings them joy to help
Right.
other people. Or
It gives me
to support a
immense
cause.
joy when I get some guy, who's been, he fucked up his Xbox because he went to a whack-off site. Now he's back on and he can go look at his favorite sites again. It gives me immense pleasure to help that guy get going again. I don't know where it comes from, but I just like that.
That's cool. No, I dig it, man. All right, so let's talk a little just personal blowing off steam. What are you passionate about?
Ooh.
Don't say masturbation, please.
Okay, I won't. Don't worry.
Besides masturbation, what
look,
are you
like
passionate
98% of guys would say that, so we can skip right past that. Look, I have a great, personal interest in creepy crawlies like spiders and snakes. So I know
Really?
everything about all the spiders and the snakes in the house. Yeah. See, my wife says I can't have any spiders, but I just found out, I assumed all these years because I can't have spiders, I can't have snakes. But you know what? I can have snakes. So I'm going to get a hognose.
You're gonna get a what?
A hognose.
Pretend I
They
don't
look
know
like-
what a hognose
They look
is.
like little pigs. They're like only this long. They're like a foot and a half. They're a hognose snake, and they have like a little upturned snoot, and they look like pigs. And they eat little critters.
A pig snake?
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you making
They're cool.
this like a Pokemon thing?
Nope. You can look it up.
Holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm
So
thinking about
what are you gonna feed it?
Probably just dead mice. You can get, pinky mice frozen, and they have them ethically killed, the whole 9 yards, and you can buy them by the 100 or whatever, and just put them in your freezer. Just unthaw one or two a week, and he just sopped that up.
Yeah. Okay, so pure curiosity, what is ethically killing a mouse? Like how do they ethically kill?
I don't know the exact process, but
It's like
I
a bus.
imagine-
They
I
never see
imagine
it
it's
coming.
the same thing as in laboratories, where in laboratories they just grab 'em by the body and boop right behind where the neck meets the head, and it cracks the neck and the spine, and they're just dead. It's like when you're hanged, if it goes correctly, you just neck breaks and you're dead.
Huh.
Same kind of thing.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I always find it whenever you run across stuff like that, like ethically killing. Like,
Well, look, I mean, they put that on there.
I understand you don't like put thumb screws in their little mice feet, or like a nail in their eye until they die or something.
Yeah. No, they torture them a lot. That they gas them.
I only like the non-ethical ones. They
Yeah.
really,
It's gotta have the nails still in it, or I won't eat it.
yeah, because then you know it's dead. Otherwise, it could be a zombie. You don't fucking know. You don't know.
You don't know.
I love shit like that when people are just so sure that you don't know something because they don't know something. There's no fucking way that you possibly could. They just like double down on shit. You don't know. The moon and the tide. You don't know why that happens. Why does the moon revolve? You don't know. No. I think you don't know. I know.
The Earth's flat.
It's called
Talking about
gravitational
revolve.
force. Yeah, no, I love that stuff. So you're gonna get a hog-nosed snake. scary obsession with spiders?
What are you talking about? Scary. I love them. I don't know. See, when I was a kid, I had this terrarium, and I kept a wolf spider. And the great thing about the wolf spider is when their eggs hatch, all the little babies swarm on their butt.
Yeah.
And so I had a mama that was pregnant and laid eggs, and all the little babies were swarming her. I just loved that kind of a thing. I just loved watching it. I don't know. It was so amazing to watch them. And the great thing about spiders is no vegetarians. They're very honest about what they do. They kill for a living. That's it. They kill. They eat.
It's very honest. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I distinctly remember as a kid staring out the window of the basement that I lived in, watching a praying mantis creep up on a spider.
I love those things.
I have zero idea
Who
what
won?
kind of spider. I believe it was the praying mantis that won.
Yeah, that praying mantis is pretty ornery. If it gets him in his claws, that's it, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched one of those eat? That's a freaking trip.
I've watched it eat my finger as I tried to rescue it from the road, little piece of shit.
What, he bit you?
Yeah, little
fucker. Did he leave did it bleed, or did he just leave a welt?
No, it just left a little mark, and I was, a little bitch, so I was like screaming and shit. But to be honest, it probably didn't hurt that much at all. It was just the act of me being so stupid as a human being, thinking that this creature is going to understand my motivations. And I'm like scooping it up. I will protect you from the road, you sweet little motherfucker, You son of a bitch! Chasing it down. Come here, I'll get you! Yeah, spiders, man. I'm the type that if I see a spider like crawling near like my bed on the wall or the ceiling or something, I'll go to try to smack it, and if I don't smack it, I'm awake for like 20 minutes, like worrying, like he knew I tried to kill him, and he got away. He's coming back. Like he's coming for me.
Yeah.
It's like a drive-by. I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, he's going to hit me with a fucking Uzi, man. I just knew it. And the damn spider got away.
No. Look, I love them. What can I say? I even love the Black Widows, especially. I mean, out here, we got them. We got tarantulas.
Yeah, and like the rational side of my brain knows that they serve an incredibly important purpose. Certainly for inside of a home. And so I appreciate them as a species. I just can't help the creep out factor for some
Sure,
reason.
yeah. Look, I get it. Look, some of them move so fast. Even I get all like, oh, because I know when they move fast, they're looking to bite. They're looking to be ornery. Get out.
Yeah,
and then of all the other things that I really like, probably the most is making tinctures. I tried homebrew for a while, but I got into tinctures, home cures, so to speak, homebrew medicine, I guess you could call it. It's just really an excuse to mix vodka with all kinds of taste. Hey, let's be honest, right? Because there's two ways to do it: glycerin or alcohol.
Yeah. I might as well feel good.
What do you think I'm choosing?
Okay, so how did you get into mixing? Was there like a book, a show you watched?
Yeah, it was a book. It's a book. Where is my tincture book?
I never thought I would hear that sentence ever spoken.
Okay, look. Medicinal herbs. It's a whole thing. Like, it's real deal. Like, echinacea until the 1950s was listed as a medicine for pharmacists. They just have better stuff now, But I like it because it's a cool hobby. And, look, I mean, if you ever get in trouble, look, my wife, she's sick, and the nighttime cold stuff's not helping. Okay, well, take a sip of this. It's elderberry and echinacea. And out like a light. And look, I mean, yeah, it's probably just the vodka in it that's knocking it off. But, I like to think that, the elderberry and echinacea is in there boosting her immune system to fight it off, right?
Yeah. Now, my wife is really big into like herbal remedies, not so much tinctures because I don't think that she's gotten that deep into it at all. But like I have really bad asthma, and when I was first discovering that was the problem, sort of allergy-induced asthma. She was just reading tons of herbal medicine books and having me take all sorts of crazy shit. And it just I lost any faith in any of that type of information because none of it worked for me, what, she was claiming.
Sure.
And so I was just like, you know what? Here's the reality behind it. If medical science didn't work, it wouldn't be around. So why don't we just trust them a little bit?
Hey, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just giving this little example with my wife.
Yeah.
You're
saying, come on, honey, I need the doctor.
Yeah.
Like,
I would like to breathe,
take the
please.
sprayer, the inhaler, please.
Please let me breathe. Yeah, it was brutal. It was fucking... And some of the stuff was so crazy too, because I'd go to my doctor and be like, hey, my wife was giving me this for the problem, and they were like, oh, that actually makes it worse. No, don't do that. And I'd come home, I'm like, aha! This is proof that it's all bullshit that you're talking. And she's like, that was just their opinion. I was like, come on!
No, I was at my doctor's office recently, and he has a book probably 4 inches thick. And you know what the title of that book is? The interaction between modern medicines and herbal remedies. And so, look, I mean, it's known that there are interactions between modern medicines and herbal medicine. Look, herbal medicine was around before we had modern medicine, chemistry. And it worked, kind of, sort of, and if you're on the if that's all you got, sure, do it. We just have better stuff now. But I find it a fun hobby, and you know what? It's great for making gifts for people too. Not many people turn down vodka.
Well, I do love the idea of finding an old home remedy or an old grandma's trick to curing a cold, and then finding a way to package that, because there's a tradition behind that. There's a heritage to it that's fun for me as a person who loves to connect with ancestry and human history, the development of human cultures. And so I appreciate that, and I absolutely love that. There's a couple comments here I want to hear your take on.
Sure.
Satanic Player Society is saying, please don't say CBD oil. Please don't say SBD oil.
Hey, my family's even more into that. I'm not taking CBD oil. I'm gonna take real medicine. Sorry, look, it's okay. So they take marijuana, right? And they have a way, I think it's through a glycerin process, to break it down, to pull out the THC, and then from there you can pull out the CBD oil from the like you can separate it, right? And so CBD oil is from marijuana, but it doesn't have any THC in any of the psychoactive stuff. But there's all kinds of claims about it right now about, it can do this, can do that, it'll put a pep in your step, it'll make your boner bigger. I don't know, whatever they're saying, right? Like, I'll take it. It'll add 3 inches to your dick. You'll have to carry it around with the wheelbarrow.
It'll take 7 years off your life, but it'll add 3 inches. I don't know a guy who wouldn't take the 3 inches. And then Pi.
The claims are true.
Pi, I think she is trying to kill me. Seriously.
Pi, dude, I'm telling you, Pi is the thing. I spent a lot of time. My parents ran a business, and I spent a lot of time with my grandma, and I was kind of a rambunctious kid and whatnot. It was probably a way to kind of keep tabs on me, but I'll tell you what, she taught me a lot about baking, and over the years I've carried that with me.
Yeah, let me cut you off really quick. I was referring to Pi Eric. I do want to get into baking really quick, but there was one last comment I wanted your take on before we get over to that, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Hellbound Heathen said, "What about drinking colored water charged with crystals?"
Charged with crystals. Look, man.
I think that's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, look. I mean, I don't know what crystals you're putting in there. Is it crystal meth? Is it? I don't know, man.
It's true.
If you're looking for a pep in your step, that'd certainly do it.
You don't need teeth. You don't need to sleep.
Fuck tea.
Crystal meth.
Get false tea. You just have them yanked out right now and get the fake ones. You know, they drill them in now with the titanium posts, and then you can do all the meth you want.
Oh man. Okay, so I mean, we already dived a little bit into the baking side of things, and I love the idea. Well, first of all, I don't want to end this on equating you mixing tinctures with crystal flavored water or whatever, because they're completely separate things. One is a heritage of human expression and medical discovery, and the other is complete tomfoolery bullshit. So let's let the audience decide which is which. No, let's just make sure that it's separate. But I'm interested in this because I love baking too. I'm by no means a talented aficionado or anything, but I enjoy the process of it. So you had mentioned that it was probably a way to keep tabs on you in some way, but was there a genuine interest that you took immediately from it?
I took an interest early on into the cooking and baking, that kind of a thing, you know. So it was fun to help her, and then we started getting more challenging stuff. I mean, by the end of it, I was able to do a lemon meringue pie, and the meringue would stay up the whole 9 yards, you know. So I've just carried that passion with me. My favorite thing actually is I have this recipe I've got down pat for chocolate chip cookies, man, and they taste just like grandma's chocolate chip cookies. So, if you lived in the Midwest or the South or even the Northeast, probably I got you. I can put you right back like you're sitting with your grandma eating cookies.
Hell yeah!
I once helped a dude get laid with cookie recipe. It was awesome.
What?
Yep.
Wait, I need this recipe if it's that good.
Dude, I'm telling you, like baking can be amazing. You know, women these days like that kind of thing. Like they kind of enjoy a man that'll cook a meal for them, right? And so I don't know.
To be fair, I don't know of a day that women didn't like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know, maybe that's not. But so this guy comes to me and he says, "Hey, I got this chick or whatever. I'm trying to get in with her. I don't know what to do. I need, what."
You're like, well, you take your penis,
you
insert it into her vagina. That's how you
her vagina. And so, like, how do I get her attention or whatnot, right? And so, okay, where did she grow up? And I asked that question because Betty Crocker's has the origin of each recipe. And so then I found a cookie recipe for where she grew up. The recipe came from where she grew up. And I said to him, look, everyone had a Betty Crocker's in the 50s, 60s, whatever. They probably still have one, right? And so, make her this recipe, give it to her. And I bet you anything, it gets you some attention. I'll be damned if it did.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome. That's straight up lesser magic. Discovering who and what your target is, finding out what you need to do in order to win them over, and then them giving themselves to you of their own free will. Like that's it.
all I did was say, hey, this cookie recipe's probably what, and I'll be darned if it wasn't exactly what Grandma used to make for her. And transporter, I don't know, transporter back in time, but people like that. They like having nostalgia. It's bittersweet, of course.
Absolutely.
They like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy the power. And here's like quick little lesser magic tip for anyone who maybe hasn't discovered this on their own yet. But whether it's food or music or clothing or just imagery, nowadays it's probably more imagery than anything else. But if you can find a way of connecting with a fond memory or a desire or just something that people are somehow attracted to, that's getting you in the door. And that's usually one of the more challenging parts of trying to connect with someone, is just getting your foot in that door.
Yep.
Having them see you as a bridge to a memory that they have that they are fond of, well, holy fuck, there's nothing more potent than that. It's brilliant. And Eric, by Eric. Yeah, magic. That is truly magic.
Yep.
Well, I have some images here, but I wanted to talk. We've already talked about the baking the tinctures, but you're a married man yourself, right?
Yep.
You want to tell me a little bit about your special lady?
Yeah, she's a hot blonde bombshell, and
I'm going to show
you know,
photos while we were talking.
yeah, we met in college, and yeah, there's something I'm working on right now. And we met in college, and it was in the laundry room actually, and just hit it off. I remember that I was so taken by her. I don't know, just something about her smile that I was so taken by her. I invited her back to my room, to my dorm, and we were in the laundry room, and she's like, okay, to watch TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went back to my room, and she didn't come. And I'm like, oh, damn. It's just whatever, right? I saw her 2 weeks later, and she's happy to see me. And that, like, right then, I had the realization, oh, no, I didn't tell her what my dorm room number was. So, then I told her my dorm room number, and we went and we watched some TV. I had my computer pimped out so that it could do TV through it, which, let me tell you what, man, in 2001, you were a total pimp if you had that.
That was a big deal. Yeah, I was stationed in Germany, and there was a soldier there who had TV streaming through his computer, and that was a big deal for the guys in the dorm.
Those are my furball cats. That's my wife dressed up for Halloween.
It's awesome. It's awesome. There she
That's
is.
us. Yeah.
She's very lovely. I gotta know. I don't, and I'm curious because I don't have it. What's his passion with cats?
Okay, look. I just have this thing with animals. It's really weird. I had a job before, it was all sales, and I would go to people's houses, and about 95% of people's animals would just come right over to me and whatever. It's really weird. In fact, my father-in-law knew that I was good for the family and that it was okay to marry his daughter, because their cat, which was an ornery son of a bitch, came right over me the first time, let me pick him up, and I was petting him and he's purring. It's just all animals. So we have cats, but it's any animal. I mean, I like dogs too, snakes, spiders, whatever, I like them, and they seem to like me. So
that's cool. I got to tell you, when you are not trying to make a connection with an animal, but they find a connection in you, it is crazy cool feeling. Like it's special. It's like a girl coming up, or a guy coming up to you and saying, they think you look good, and maybe they want to, date you or fuck you or whatever. It just makes you feel really good.
Not thinking that. Yeah.
So I had I work in a city that's very friendly to dogs. So people bring them to their grocery store. They bring them to work. It's just a normal thing.
Therapy dog.
But no, this is just regular. Like,
this is just regular dog.
It's a dog town where I work.
Oh, wow,
so
okay.
There's this really, really old, but healthy-ish looking golden retriever that is the pet of a douchebag of the highest degree that works in an office across the hall from me.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I'll pass the hallway and he's like walking in, and the dog will just come trotting up and like super happy, energetic, and excited. Yeah. And then the owner's like, come here, come on, get inside. Like, doesn't respond to me at all. The owner is like ignoring me, but just like belittling the dog for not having followed him in the office immediately. And the dog slows down and gets real old. And then just slowly.
You see, dogs are smart enough. They don't know what he's saying, but they know by the tone of his voice. I mean, he's probably the kind of a-hole that's I don't know. I'd hate
I'm
to slam
sure he
guy.
abuses that dog physically.
Yeah, you can tell usually when people are ornery like that to their animals. But Yeah, I mean, dogs are very social animals. So yeah, it's a shame that happens. You know, all he wanted to do was come and sniff you and have you scratch him, probably. And
Yeah, and literally that was
goodness
it.
forbid.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that bothers me. How can you be a pet owner and be upset when this creature decides to go investigate something or do anything outside of your funneled vision of life? They don't share your fucking vision. They want to smell someone's butt or they want to stick their nose in some grass because someone
Right.
peed there at one point. Like, they are living creatures with motivations of their own that go outside of the realm of your desires as the owner. Why do you even own a pet if you don't understand that? This
Right.
drives me mad.
Yeah, it drives me insane too. Yeah, like our cats are indoor cats. Why? I don't want them getting squished. I don't want them getting. Look, I mean, look, down here, coyotes live in the city, and then not only do they eat trash, but they love kitty cats and they love dogs.
Oh, no.
They'll eat them all. They'll eat anything they can get. They make a good living in town.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen them in our neighborhood trotting around, big and fat and glossy coat, just like they had a nice big fat house cat meal.
That's
Yeah.
But it is the circle of life.
Yeah, I'd try and pet one, but they can be kind of ornery.
Yeah. Wild animals usually are. I
Yeah.
understand that. Well, Ryan, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming on and chatting with me.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we go, you want to play a little game?
Okay, let's play. What
All
is
right.
the game?
Let me reach out to my friend here. And let's do a round of the Tonight Show's True Confessions, perhaps. I gotta be honest with all of you out there. I'm a little iffy on that intro. I'm just not, I don't know. I'm iffy on it. You let me know what you think. That's how we'll run it. Welcome to Speak of the Devil. My name's Reverend Campbell. It is fantastic to have you. And for those of you joining live in the chat, hopefully you're going to be corresponding with each other and with us, the presenters, or host and hosty, host and guest, throughout the entire course of this show. I've got a really great guest for you. And I want to preface this really quick by saying, first and foremost, I've been doing this for a year now. This specific show for a year now. A little over a year, but who's counting? I started doing Speak of the Devil because it was what I loved about 9 Cents. That I got to meet new Satanists and hear their stories and their passions and what interests them and what turns them on and what turns them off. Tonight's show is all about that. Just meeting someone face to face, digital face to face for the first time. And, you know, you guys are going to be watching like a bunch of perverted voyeurs. So I hope you enjoy this show. Let me give a quick shout out to everyone joining us in chat. Dallas, thanks for coming in live and early too. Pushin, Bella, how are you? Tyler, if I just told you happy birthday in the Skype, it said it was your birthday. If it is in fact your birthday, happy birthday, man. Pi, Jeff, Ryan, Wasteland, good to see you, man. Dr. Bubonic, Paul, John, Diva, Dave D. How's it going, man? Joel, good to see you. And Jeff, I think that's everyone. TTK, I don't know what the hell that name stands for, but awesome. Good to see you. Let's start the show, shall we? I've got a very special guest, Citizen Ryan. How are you, my man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. Now, you and I have corresponded
way back when you did your other show, yeah.
Yeah, 9 cents. And then you've been so great to every once in a while chime in saying, hey, I see this error. Did you mean it? And so we've addressed that. And then you sent this really great little care package.
Oh, you loved it, didn't you? Well, you know, I care about your soul.
A religious care package, which was a lot of fun. We'll cover that in just a second.
Not as blonde as I look.
There's my man. It's been a long time. Thank you so much for joining us live.
Oh, you're very welcome. Hold on, let me scoot my rocking chair. Yeah, I'm not even 30. I have a rocking chair. Can you believe that?
It's a little Patrick Bates. All right. Okay. So you know the game we're playing. It's the Tonight Show's True Confessions. Each of us have 2 stories. The 2 that will not be telling the story chooses which story you tell, A or B, and only you know if it's the true or the false story. You then tell us the story. We get 1 minute to ask you questions to determine whether it's true or not. And then if we determine it's true or false, we win. If we don't, then you win. It's that simple. No prizes, just fun. So, because you are the special guest joining us live, I'm going to have you go first. So, Ryan,
Okay.
should he give us his A or his B story?
Well, you're asking me if Arden should?
Yes.
Okay, let's have B.
All right,
B.
B story. What you got?
Okay. So, I'm terrified of elevators. I haven't gotten in one in years. Except when I go to the Natural History Museum in Manhattan. Okay? I love that museum, and I love the planetarium. That's when I was growing up, I wanted to be an astronomer, but I don't have the mind to do it, so I have to kind of appreciate other people's works. Now, when I first moved here with my ex-boyfriend, we went to the Natural History Museum. And I get to the elevator because I'm like, baby, we got to go see the planetarium. I'm so excited. He's like, okay. So we go up to the elevator. I'm like, no, I I can't go in there. And the security guard is like, well, it's the only way to go up. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's a ramp right there through the window, and there's a staircase right next door to this elevator. He's like, yeah, well, it's part of the whole experience. My boyfriend's like, okay, you got to get over this shit. So either you get in the elevator, or we don't go. So I run into the elevator, and I'm like, if this was the pole, I'm on the ground. And it's no more than a 10-second ride. And it's a complete glass elevator. We probably went up 6 feet. You know? And I'm like almost in tears. I'm shaking. And there were other people in there too. And they're like, what's wrong with him? He's like, he's a pussy. He's fine. It's okay. So the elevator stops, and I shove like these old people out of my way. And I just run out of the elevator. And I was a smoker at the time. Like, now I do the e-cigarette. So I just had I had an unlit cigarette in my mouth, just sucking on it for dear life, and then I went and saw the planetarium. Okay. And luckily, there was not an elevator down. I got to walk the ramp because I was so scared I'd have to get in that thing again.
All right. Before we start asking questions, is that the end of the story?
That is, yeah.
Okay, so before we start asking questions, let me start a timer. You ready, Ryan?
Yep.
All right, let's start asking questions.
Have you ever... Okay, go ahead.
How long have you had this fear?
Since I was 15.
What caused the fear? Were you locked in an elevator or something?
No, nothing bad has ever happened to me in an elevator.
Have you ever gotten in an elevator since? Did this help you overcome it?
No, I only get in it to see the Natural History Museum planetarium.
Is it the claustrophobia or is it the motion?
Neither.
Wait, what?
I'm not claustrophobic.
Is it the word elevator?
Yeah, do you get freaked out by the word? No?
And I'm not afraid of heights either, so you can skip that one.
I don't understand how this is even possible.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Was
it a difficult birth that you did you have a difficult birthing? Maybe you feel like you're in the womb?
You breeding fuck.
What did the old people look like? Were they white? Oh, that's the timer.
They were white.
Okay. So this is our timer that I don't know how to fucking turn off. All right, Ryan, do you think he's telling the truth or lie?
I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe you can go. Where can you go without getting in an elevator nowadays?
Well,
You know,
here's what I'm concerned about. The fear of the elevator may be true, but did the planetarium actually have a fucking elevator?
Yeah, and I can't check that. I can't fact check that right now.
God, there could be, the delivery was so sort of like stuttery. It could be real, or it could have been fumbling, or
Yeah, I mean, you could tell he's like fear. He's like, oh, you know, he's got. I don't know.
All right, so Marcy in the chat says, sounds true. Her mom hates elevators and heights.
Yeah.
Hellbound
maybe.
Heathen said he's lying. He's never had a boyfriend. That's not true. Bella the Demon saying she believes it's true.
Oh yeah, right. People, I'm live. People are like talking about me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a limb and I'm gonna believe the guy. Yeah.
You know
I'm
what?
a sucker.
I feel like I'm gonna get shot for this, but I think the story is true. I have a feeling something's off about it, and that's why it's got to be false. So I call false.
Maybe it's like a friend or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, fair
what
enough.
is it?
So we have Adam Campbell saying false. We have you saying true. Is that correct?
Oh, that's correct.
All right. Is it time for me to reveal?
Yes,
It's time
sir.
for you the big reveal.
It is completely true.
Son of a. Ah!
The planetarium does have an elevator. It goes up one floor. All right. I am absolutely terrified of elevators. I only get in one at the planetarium. It's so bad. So when I had a day job, I took a business trip to Chicago, right? And it was to go see this client, Constellation. Now, I took a train there because I also don't fly. I take the train every.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask.
Right, so that's a 15-hour trip. All right, so every time I go back home, it's a commitment. Like, it's a fucking deal. So, what was it? So I get there, the train just pulls in, the meeting starts in an hour. Everybody had gotten there the night before for the meeting, and I don't have time to go back to the hotel. I go straight to the building. And I go up to security. I'm like, hi, I'm here for this meeting for Constellation. They're like, oh, okay, well, the elevators are right behind us. You're on the list. I'm like, yeah, I don't get in elevators. Well, you have to get in the elevator. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I'm in a suit. I'm hungover. I've been drinking all night. I can't get in an elevator. I'll stink of whiskey. And so I'm freaking out. Like, I can't. I'm either going to be fired or I'm getting in an elevator. Well, luckily, the security guard felt so bad because I was freaking out. They tried to get me in the elevator, and I just damn near screamed and ran out of the building. Like, okay, so you're gonna walk up with all your luggage to the 17th floor. I'm like, the 17th floor? The meeting's on the 8th floor. Like, no, it says 17th floor. So they wouldn't let me leave my luggage down there. So this poor girl had to walk up with me to the 17th floor while I'm wearing a suit, carrying my luggage for the weekend in fucking Chicago after 8 hours on a train and hungover without coffee.
Damn.
In the middle of summer.
I'm imagining the Ghostbusters scene.
So that's exactly what it was. So I get up to the 17th floor, lo and behold, no meeting on the 17th floor. Had to walk back down to the 8th and the fucking CFO is waiting for me. Like,
pissing
he's a great guy though. He's like, my daughter's terrified of elevators. In my head, I'm like, great, you compared me to a girl. How nice. He's like, I wish someone would have told us. I would have given special clearance to take the stairs.
Oh man.
So after the meeting, the bar is on the 18th floor of the building. This was an alcohol.
No.
So I don't have coffee. I haven't had breakfast. I'd been drinking all night. I had to walk back up with my luggage to the 18th floor and then try 3 different tequilas, 4 wines, and 8 different beers.
Damn.
And I still don't get an elevator. That's satanic strength right there, ladies
Victory,
and
man.
That's force of will.
Perseverance. Nice. Well, okay. Congratulations to that. I can't. Oh. So then I gotta let. Okay, so Ryan chose yours. I'm gonna choose Ryan's. Okay, so we'll do this. Ryan, give us your A story.
Okay. In a former life, before I started working or whatever, I was in college, and I was training to be an archaeologist, and I had flown to Palau, this little island in the Pacific, and part of the gig was I was going to help survey an underwater wreck, a Japanese wreck. And so we go down, a team of 8 of us, and we're diving the wreck, and it's really cool. But we have to survey the whole thing, and it's kind of sitting on a downward ledge, right? And so the bow of the goddamn thing is like 120 feet underwater. About 100 feet, we're making our way towards the bow, and I start to get real narked out, like nitrogen narcosis, right? And I'd never been that deep before, and so I'm getting real loopy and shit, right? Like I'm starting to think weird shit. And this is Palau, so you have all kinds of shit that you don't see normally, like lionfish. And there's this lionfish. He's pretty big, right? They're the ones with the stickers on them that make you real sick, sting the hell out of you. And I get this thought in my head, like, this poor fish, I can breathe, but how is he not breathing? He's gonna die. So I'm like trying to take my regulator out and give the fish my regulator, right? My buddy sees me trying to take the regulator out. He's like, "Oh no, stop!" Like trying to stop me from, going over to the lionfish and give him my regulator so that he can breathe the water. And then I'm like, we have these little pads, right? You can write shit on underwater, right? I think I'm narked. No shit.
Wait, okay, sorry. Are you done?
So I'm staying, it's very clear I'm not going to 120. I'm going to stay with someone else near the 80-foot mark and let my head clear a little. And we finished, we were only down there like 25, whatever, 30 minutes, whatever. We didn't have a lot of time. And so, then we get back to the surface and, your head starts to clear. It's like, what the fuck was that? Strangest feeling ever. Go ahead, I'm done.
You're done, huh? All right, hold on. I got some time on this. You want to start it in?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay, how many people did you go down with?
8.
What is a narc?
Narcosis is when you're under enough pressure, under enough water, that the nitrogen starts to build up in your bloodstream and it causes a narcotic effect.
What kind of fish did you try to save?
It was a lionfish. The damn thing was gonna die. Huh?
How many people did you go down with?
8. I said it. Here, let me look at my notes.
Where'd you go?
It was Palau.
Why?
It was because we were doing archaeological digs, and part of it was this underwater survey.
Where's Palau?
Palau is really far west. It's west of it's probably west. Yeah, it's west of Guam, because I jumped into Guam, and then I hit Japan, and then I flew into Palau.
See,
it's north of Papua New Guinea.
All right,
it's like northeast.
That's the timer. Let me before I read off some comments, Aden, start thinking about whether this is true or not. Okay. I have been very deep, balls deep before. So I understand what it means by getting deep. I've been holding the balls deep reference for so goddamn long in this damn story. It's actually not funny at all at this point, but it's in my head and I had to get it out. So Bell of the Demon says it's far too realistic. I'm sorry, it's got to be false because it's really fantastical. Pi Eric is saying false. Let's see. Player Society seems a bit of a stretch. Looks like the location. Devlin is saying false. Tyler's saying false. Joe is saying true. Marcy's saying seems legit. Aden, what do you think?
Oh, I say false.
Okay.
Way too detailed and...
So detailed.
Yeah, way too detailed.
Like if you were high would you remember all those details?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would never know.
I want to say it's false, but I feel like I've been burned by every single story so far in this damn game.
You suck at this.
It's true.
Thank God you don't work in Army intelligence.
Seriously. Actually, I was, and that's why 9/11. Sorry. I'm that bad.
You didn't catch the impact.
Yeah, the CIA was like, no, really, look, they're training to fly into buildings. I was like, false.
That doesn't seem right.
People don't fly.
That sounds too realistic.
Hey, listen, I'm an Arab. I don't fly. Connection. I
See?
think so.
Huh?
So
All right. I don't believe this at all. Like, not even a little. I say false too. All right. So, true or false? What is it?
I mean, it actually happened.
Ah, what the fuck?
No, you're still lying.
Why? Why
Here's
am I
what I
lying?
tell everybody. If I'm always right and you're not wrong, you have to agree with me.
Oh, okay. That's very solid.
That's how you get out of fights with your wife.
Why? Wait a sec. I gotta know more about this because we just had an hour-long interview and not once did you mention.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. Well, my life. I've done so much shit. It's like, yeah. I flew all over the world. I've been to the Middle East. I've been to Palau, Japan, Grenada, down to the Caribbean. I dug up dead bodies, examined human skeletal remains for years.
Why the fuck were we talking about customer service?
I have a master's degree in anthropology, but I just decided it wasn't for me. Like the PhD level would cost too much, and relative to how much I could make, no thanks. So
I feel like I've just been screwed out of an hour of my life.
what do you
I'm
mean?
never gonna give. We could have talked about ancient human history, man.
Well, we could do that.
God damn it!
Well,
Damn
we
it!
have to schedule for another visit.
All right. I'm gonna accept that. I don't like it. But I'm
Yeah,
gonna accept it.
I probably know more about the human skeleton. I've got a really good memory. That's why the story was, and I love telling stories. So, but I probably know more about the human skeleton than a lot of doctors. Because the doctor, they just forget. Fuck it, right? Yeah. Bones broke. Look, the X-ray said bones broke. Yeah. I still know a lot about human dental disease and human skeletal disease. It was fun studying that kind of stuff.
Do you have the dead remains of bodies in your crawl space?
No, I don't have a crawl space.
Adam, what are you talking about? He has a skull behind him.
Don't worry, it's no one you know.
All right. All right. So Aden, should I do my A or my B story?
D.
I don't have a D.
Well, you came to this. You. I wasn't even thinking that. You came to this unprepared, sir.
You.
Okay, well, let's pretend it has to be A or B. Which would you prefer?
What was the middle thing again? Sorry, I was watching a fish called Wanda earlier.
A or B? A or B?
Make them tell low.
A.
Okay.
A.
Okay. Okay. This was a bad one. So I was driving home from a concert, and my nephew was driving. We got pulled over because he was completely out of his mind drunk. The officer ended up pulling him out of the car, and, well, he asked him to get out of the car. And he was, like, yelling at my niece, who is in the passenger seat, like, crying, like, why are you arresting him? He hasn't done anything wrong. They were freaking out. I'm, like, sort of jumping a little bit ahead of because I've been drinking a little bit. But he ended up getting arrested, and while they were arresting him, they were trying to calm my niece down. And I was in the back seat with my wife, and I just looked out the window. I was like, why are you being a fucking dick to her? You just arrested her husband. Can't she just be a little fucking upset about that? He got so upset, he pulled me out of the back fucking window and like slammed me on the ground and told me to stay there until the other cop car arrived so they could take him, and then he left and I drove home. So that's the story. So let me start timer before you guys start asking questions. Go.
Who was driving?
My nephew. I mean, that sounds young. He's 22.
Am I the only one asking questions? Do you have one?
Did they take your ID?
Mine, no. They were just holding me until they could get...
Did they put you in handcuffs?
No. Actually, he was pressing me to the ground. What sucked is I had a nipple ring, and I was like, I thought he was going to rip my nipple ring out because it was like pressing against the fucking ground. And I don't know if you've ever had one, but any type of pressure movement, it hurts. I was really afraid I was going to lose.
Which nipple did you have pierced?
Oh, it's my left one right here.
You have a nipple piercing?
I don't anymore, but I did that time, yeah.
Show us the scar.
This is going to get fucking weird, people.
So, should I call my boy in here if you're taking off your shirt? Because I told him how nice you look naked.
They didn't read you your rights.
What concert?
All right, that's the
what
timer.
concert? Answer the question first.
What was it?
What
was the
concert?
What's the
What
question?
concert did you go to?
Oh, Clutch.
Mm.
All right, what do you guys think? Okay, let me. So, Bella the Demon says true, 100% true. Satanic Player Society says, considering Utah police arrested a nurse for doing her job, he says this is true. Wasteland says he believes it. Marcy says she doesn't think the cops would just leave. And
Yeah, I think they'd have given you a ticket. I think this horse shit. I gotta call false on it.
Okay. Tyler Hinn says true. What do you think of it?
See, here's where I'm confused. See, no offense, Adam, I love you, but you're a loudmouth. I can picture you going off on a cop. But on the other hand, you're smart enough to know, like, all right, they're the ones with the guns, they're the ones with the authority to give me a ticket or haul my ass into jail, so I should probably keep my mouth shut. So I don't know where I land. Because you could easily go either way. Were you drinking that night?
We've answered all questions. I can't answer anymore.
I'll take that as a yes. So,
Yeah,
false, they wouldn't let you leave. If you flipped out and they halt and put you to the ground and played with your gay nipple ring, yeah.
Yeah. They'd have given you a ticket or a molly-whopping at least.
Only fags and weird people get nipple rings. I mean, what possessed you?
Axl Rose had a nipple ring, and I wanted to be Axl Rose as a kid.
Oh, you fucking fanboy. You wanted to be that scrawny hype.
I adored Guns N' Roses. I loved Axl Rose. He had a nipple ring. I had to get one. So I did. Okay, so you guys want to know?
Yeah.
It's total bullshit. This is...
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I could smell it.
It was bullshit that it happened to me. It actually happened to my nephew. That was his story that I stole. So
He got dragged out and they didn't give him a ticket. They
no,
just ornery to
well,
him.
I altered it a little bit. He ended up going to jail because he was talking back, and so they pulled him out, beat the fuck out of him, and then they threw him in jail. And for all you people complaining that the police hate minorities, he was a young white man. So it has nothing to do with minorities. It has everything to do with cops are fucking dicks. That's it.
Without opening that can of worms.
Well, that was the game. I hope everyone had fun.
Because if you're swerving all over the road and there's a big concert, everyone's getting pulled over.
That's true.
So
that's actually a really good point. I didn't think about that at all.
Obviously.
Yeah,
and you know, I'm no social justice warrior, but you know, big concert in town. someone swerving on the roads.
And then start screaming at you.
Yeah.
There's something up.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They're not that bored when they're just going to start pulling over scrawny little white kids.
Oh, man. Well, I totally lost. You guys won, so congratulations. Fucking good job to you.
So,
I suck at this.
We get that striptease you promised me over text before I signed on, right?
As soon as I stop the live video, I will... I'll do it. All right, so thank you so much, Eden, for joining us for the game. I really appreciate it. I contacted you last minute, and I know this was just spur of the moment, but I really do appreciate it, man. Can you tell the good people what you got going on in your life right now?
I'm working on my next book and working on the 4th issue of Horns magazine. The anniversary issue came out. It's the best one ever. I'm really happy. It's the magazine that I always wanted to see, finally. And other than that, you know.
What's the website people can go to?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I always forget that shit. I'm bad at this. You can go to hornsmagazine.com. If you like dick sucking and witchcraft, that's the magazine for you. So even girls.
Yeah.
Like almost half of my readers are girls, which is weird. I mean, it's guys eating ass, sucking dick, and
so
I mean,
children's
content.
like
in my anniversary issue, I have a 10.5-inch cock. And I was there for that photo shoot. He pulled down his pants. I'm like, what the fuck do you do to these boys?
Elephant trunk.
Damn.
I mean, he just, it was, even soft, he was as big as I am. I'm like, are you kidding? What? He's like, yeah, there's a reason why I only fuck Spanish guys and black guys. They're the only ones who can handle it. I'm like, pussies.
I didn't know that.
And he has like a tough pack too, so he had a beautiful body and this huge ass dick. And because, when me and the photographer walked out of the room so we can get the cum shot, he's like, is it okay if I jack off to a home movie I made? I'm like, yeah, sure, as long as you show me when you're done. So when it's about ready, we walk back in. Because me and the photographer were just having a drink in the other room.
Yeah.
He starts jacking, he's like, all right, I'm ready. And we're like, okay, we run to the camera. He's like, I'm about to shoot. I'm like, okay, here we go. And he shoots everywhere. And then when he's done, I'm like, okay, here's a towel. He's like, thanks, buddy. I'm like, here's your money. I'm like, all right, scoot over. So, and he shows me the home movie. And this beautiful little Latin boy, and I love my Latin boys. God bless him. Yeah, he took him balls fucking deep, 10.5 inches in his ass.
Jeez, man.
Right?
It didn't hurt him? I guess there's a technique.
Didn't look like it. I mean, he was moaning like he was in heaven. I mean, you couldn't shut that kid up if you gagged him. He was having a good time.
All right. Great
so yeah,
story.
if you want to see that, my Horns magazine. That's my C and D story right there.
That's your D story, all right. Oh man, that's the deep D story. Thank you so much, man, for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
No problem, guys. You have a good time.
All right, take
Always
care.
a pleasure.
Take
You
care.
too. Bye, buddy.
Bye. All right, that was heavy. God damn. Yeah. Yeah, Devlin, you're right. 10 inches is a lot. A lot more than I'm packing. That's for damn sure. Yeah, this is gonna stay a little bit wonky. There we go. Ryan, thank you so much for joining me and for doing the show and then doing the chat. I do genuinely feel like you buried the lead, not mentioning the whole traveling.
I just didn't think I thought it'd be boring.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Oh my. All right, now I have to have you back just so we can talk about that.
That's right. See, I gotcha. I gotcha.
I roped you in with the stories. All right, well, you had mentioned your passion for animals. You actually have a Facebook page dedicated just to your cat, right?
Yeah, it was kind of a goof, I saw someone else had done like I've got, here's what my pet pictures on this page just for my cat. And I don't know. I tried it out, right? Because what the hell, right? And yeah, you can put your pets on as like they're a personality, like a famous person, whatever, right? And so yeah, there she is. You know, my cat that I've had forever.
Is there like a URL you can give to the audience or some keyword searching?
Yeah, it's on Facebook. I think it's Facebook/BurleyCat. BurleighChat. So I mean, you can check it out if you want. But look, I'm gonna be honest. It's just cat. It's cat pictures of like me taking a picture of my cat and then me typing out the post as though it's the cat typing it out. Haha, you know, I've got this iPad and it's all mine now. You know, that kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So
that kind of sounds funny.
Yeah.
Hey, people dig it. Check it out. If you're into cats, if you just want to see a funny Facebook post or a Facebook page, yeah, why not?
Sure.
Ryan, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you again. Until we can speak of the devil again, hail Satan.
Yeah. Hail Satan.